using our words to express ourselves, communication with our speech. This is what I'm going to focus in this video. Hi, my name is Kaushik Chaki, and in this video, I'm going to give you 5 important tips on how you can make your communication more effective, specifically when you are communicating with your speech. So let's start right away. Tip number 1 is setting the listener at ease. You want to do this before launching into a conversation or into a presentation. You can begin with a favorite short narrative of an interesting, amusing, or a biographical incident. Now, this helps the listener identify you as someone just like them, having the same everyday concerns like they do. Next is tip number 2, that is being articulate. So, it's important to deliver your message with clarity so that the message comes across in a way that every listener can understand your message. Our words are remembered by people because they instantly recognize or understand what we are saying. Now, for this to happen, it requires us to deliver messages with words that are distinct, statements that are distinct, which means these statements do not have another form of understanding. The listeners would understand or interpret our statements only in one manner. Also, focus on using simpler words rather than more complex ones. So, always remember the goal of articulate communication is to be concise, clear, and relevant to the topic. Now, let's go to tip number 3, that is to make your statement systematic. So, for making your statements systematic, you need to follow a couple of things. Number 1 is speak at a volume that is guaranteed to be heard by your listeners and it doesn't comes across too quiet or disengaged. Number 2 is enunciate your key point so that you can avoid any kind of misunderstanding. Point number 3 is mumbling. If mumbling is a defensive habit that you have fallen into, I've seen a lot of people mumbling during a communication. Even I am one of those who does mumble at some given point of time. So, what we can do to avoid mumbling is to practice your messages at home in front of mirror. I also give this tip to people who go for job interviews, and this really helps you out. Also, what you can do is you can discuss the points that you need to communicate with others with people you feel comfortable with. Now, these 2 techniques solidify your message. And be aware that any kind of practice or refinement of your messages will help you build more confidence. Tip number 4 would be to be attentive while you're listening and to ensure that your facial expressions reflect your interest level. So, listen actively. Remember, communication is a two-way street, and that while you're talking, you're not learning. So, by actively listening, you will be able to measure how much your messages are being interpreted by the listeners, how much of your message is getting through in the mind, and whether or not is your message received correctly to the listener or do you need to tweak your message a little bit. So, if your audience appears to be confused, it is often helpful to ask the listener to reflect back on something that you have said but in their own words. Now, this can help you identify and correct the mistaken views of what you had intended to communicate. Also, try to validate people's feelings. This will help them to open up and also it will help them feel better if they're upset. Tip number 5 for being effective in your communication with your speech is to be vocally interesting. So, monotone is not pleasing to the ear, and thus, good communicators use vocal colors to enhance their communication. Now, what are these vocal colors? I'm going to discuss a little bit with you people so that you can start using these vocal colors. So, number 1 thing that you can do here is to raise the pitch or the volume of your voice when you are in a transition from one topic to another. Number two is to increase your volume and to slow your delivery when you are summing up or raising a special point. And the third thing that you can do is whenever speaking, pause to emphasize the keywords specifically when requesting any kind of an action to your listeners. So these are the 5 tips that would help you enhance your communication, specifically when you are using your speech to express your feelings. If there is anything else you would like to add in this list of tips, you can share your ideas or your experiences in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kaushik Chaki signing out.